begin. So welcome to today's session on mastering literature search and free access to researcher resources. This is how the session is going to look like. I'll give you a brief overview about KashfInitiative. I'll introduce 10 YouTube panelists. And in this session, we hope to learn about information literacy. What are the components of information literacy? Like how do we find information basically on internet? How do we search via research? How do we search for resources like phrase searching, truncation, etc. You will learn about open access educational resources like different books and journals that you could access for your resources, and some of the bonus tips that our speaker has very kindly agreed to share with us today. So quickly about KashfInitiative. Before we begin the session, I'd like to take a couple of minutes to share what this initiative is about and our plans for the future. KashfInitiative is a non-profit initiative dedicated to supporting research and learning in the social sciences and humanities. The idea is simple. We want to pass on the lessons that we learned or wished we had learned during our own academic journeys. Our goal is to make the process of research and learning a bit smoother, especially when it comes to the basics and foundational training. To achieve this, we plan to offer sessions on research, writing, methodology, tools, while also creating spaces to review and showcase our research work. We recently held a collaborative workshop with the Transnational and Global History Workshop seminar, Oxford, and we hope to continue doing those kind of events as well for future. You can visit our website to learn more about our learning schemes and the scope of this initiative and our work, as well as our upcoming sessions. Let me then quickly introduce and take a moment to basically introduce you to panelists. So today we have joining us Nabeel Ahmad. He works as the external consultant library with the Indian Institute for Human Settlements, which is the IIHS Bengaluru. And with that, over to you, Nabeel. The stage is yours. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Sana, for the introduction. I'm really grateful to the team Kashyap for this much needed initiative and for making this session happen. I will be broadly covering the information literacy part, what exactly information literacy is, and then some of the searching techniques we can use while searching the literature. And then I will be also exploring the platforms where you can get the open access educational resources, and then finally some of the bonus tips. Yeah, could you please change the slides? Yeah. So information literacy, as described by American Library Association, is a set of abilities requiring individual to recognize when information is needed and have the ability to locate, evaluate, and use effectively the needed information. So I mean, it roots from the concept of information explosion, information abundance, especially after the industrial revolution and with the advent of wide use of internet. The information we have available right now is in abundance, and sometimes it is redundant also. So that's where the birth of information literacy comes in, which simply means to have some set of skills and abilities to search the information, evaluate, and use it effectively in your research process. Please change the slides now. Yeah, the next one. So there are five broad components of information literacy. It's a huge, big process starting from identifying the information, which simply means what information do you need, what is your query, and what is your a problem with the information. Then the second step obviously is to find the information. This is the broad topic we will be exploring today in this session. Then the evaluation of information means to see if the results you got is aligning with your need or not, is relevant or not, is authentic or not, is precisely what you need or not. And then comes the application of the information you got, which simply means the use of information, how you are going to use the information, the results you got from your search. Then finally comes the acknowledgement part. Here, acknowledgement means once you use the information, how you're going to provide the source of it, or how you're going to provide a reference or citation for it. So these are the five main components of information literacy, but we will be exploring the finding part only today in this session. Please change the slides. Yeah. So finding information has a standard process to it, but it need not necessarily to be followed in the same way. Since it's a standard process, it helps you to reduce the time and to get you more precise results. And it starts with identifying the keywords or the query terms for your information which you need. It simply means to the keywords excludes the articles, preposition, and conjunction. It only contains the terms which specifically defines your query or defines your statement. Then the step comes in to create a search statement, which simply means to arrange the identified keywords in a proper way. And then obviously the third step is to make a search. Fourth step is to learn from your result. It simply means the result you got necessarily not necessarily to be the results which you needed. So you need to analyze and evaluate the search results you get, and then finally revise it if you are not satisfied with the results, and then again repeat the process. Please change the slide. Yeah, so there are five searching techniques I will be tapping on today that are phrase, truncation, Boolean operators, wildcard searching, and then finally the advanced searching options we have. Please see the slide. Yeah, so yeah, let's start with the phrase searching. Personally, my favorite searching technique, which I usually employ in my day-to-day search, and specifically when I look for the literature search for my research work as well. So what happens basically when you randomly or casually make a search on Google or Google Scholar or any of the search engines or databases or indexes or repositories. So normally you put the search, you put the terms in the search bar, click on the search button, and then get the results. So what happens by default is the algorithm is made in a way that it will take all the key terms in a broad way, in a specific way, in narrower way, and also the terms related to that term also. So normally it lands you up with a huge bulk of results in millions and trillions or sometimes. So in order to precise your search results, that's where the phrase searching comes as a rescue, where you need to just simply put the key terms in quotes, and you will get the results of exactly the term you have used in the search bar. Please see in the slide. Yeah, so truncation search. No, truncation search is again a searching technique to make your search results more precise and relevant. It uses an asterisk mark at the end of each word that will retrieve the many variations of that specific word available. In this example, as you can see, the word child ends up with the asterisk mark. The results retrieved will include the word child, children, childhood, and so on, etc. Please see this slide. Yeah, so the next and the most important searching technique is the use of Boolean operators. There are three Boolean operators, and, or, and not. And is to combine the two words. Or is used to use the both words separately and individually. Not is used to exclude the second word while making a search. Please see this slide. Yeah. So the very first Boolean operator we have is and. And as you can see in the diagrammatical representation of and, that and combines two key terms together and give you the more precise results. In this case, if you would search with climate and pollution, the search results will only include the terms which are the results in which both of these terms are coming together, climate and pollution. Please take this. Yeah, so the next Boolean operator is or here. It will give you more broader search results because it uses both of these terms individually and in combination as well. So as a result, you will get more results than if you use the term if you use the Boolean operator and. Please see this. Yeah, so the last Boolean operator, non, and the most important Boolean operator, I think, is not, which excludes the second term from the search query. In this case, if you would use climate, not application, the search results will only include the results in which the term pollution is not listed, but only the climate. Change the slide, please. Okay, so yeah, so the next searching technique is wildcard searching, which is similar to truncation search, whereas in wildcard searching we use the symbol of question mark to replace with any of the characters in a word. In this case, like if suppose if you would use the question mark in the fourth character of the word woman, the words with the search results will include the many variations of the word woman. Please see in the slide. Yeah, so the lastly, advanced searching techniques. In most of the search engines, databases, indexes, and repositories, advanced searching options are available now where you can filter out the results in different heads. You can search for the results using a specific terms in the title, using specific terms with the journal or book series, or with the author, with the affiliation, with the volume, and even with the date. So normally in most of the databases and search engines, you would find the advanced searching options. If not, then you have the other searching techniques which are quite similar to advanced searching techniques. Please see in this slide. Yeah, okay. So open access educational resources, let me give you a very brief of what they are. So basically, they are the resources which are created without any license. They are always put above the paywall. You need not to have you need not to pay anything to access the open access educational resources. They are a part of open access movement where the motive is to make all the educational resources available to everyone. So the challenge is open educational resources by default are not normally marketed in our academia and in the universities and colleges we are in. But there are a huge range of resources which you can use legally uh, and freely without any hassle. Please see this slide. Okay, so there are a number of varieties of educational resources, from tutorials, from media files, from websites, softwares, and then you have patents, manuals, and reports, etc. as well. But I will be covering only the books and the journals parts only today because they are the mostly needed by the researchers and students. So I have listed 5 platforms in books and journals separately that would help you to reach the open access educational resources, namely DOAB, Directory of Open Access Books. Hathi Trust is a project, then JSTOR, Project Gutenberg, and Internet Archive. Please see in this slide. Yeah, so starting with the Directory of Open Access Books, it's an initiative which pools all the open access book available on the internet, specifically on Internet Archive and Google Books. Uh, 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 the point here to note is you cannot directly access to the full text on DOAB, but DOAB works as a link between the actual source of a book where the book is freely accessible and between a user who wants to read the book. You simply need to search for the book in the DOAB portal. It will list you the places where that book is freely accessible, and you can certainly go to the original source and download the book. Please see in the slide. Yeah, so the next is Hathi Trust Digital Library. As the name suggests, it's a giant a repository uh, um, of books where you can and certainly download the books without any individual or institutional access. Hathi Trust is one of the very prominent archiving initiatives started in US back in 1970s. So there is a huge pool of freely accessible books in Hathi Trust as well. You can please see this. Yeah. Okay. So JSTOR is primarily a database for journals, but it has a separate section for open access books as well, for which you don't need any login, for which you don't need any subscription or any institutional access. There are more than 13,000 open access books available from different publishers and from different libraries. You can also go through the MARC record of books. The MARC record contains the metadata of each of these books, where you can get mm, to see more specifically what you need. Please see this slide. Yeah, so Project Gutenberg is again an initiative in US started in 1990s by Michael S. Hart, and it pools more than 75,000 free ebooks where you can certainly go and search for these books and download them in the full text. Please see this. Yeah, so Internet Archive is a non-profit organization initiative started in 1996, I guess. It is a portal not only for the books but for the other materials as well, for the media files, for the softwares, for the websites. But it has a specific section dedicated for the open books where you can certainly go and look for the book you need, download them. One special feature Internet Archive has is similar to what we have in the traditional libraries. You need not necessarily to download the full text. You can certainly log in, have your account, and borrow the book for a specific time. It saves you from downloading the big bulky PDF. And you can certainly borrow the book for your desired time and then return it. But you cannot obviously download it, but you can consult the book in whichever you want to. Please in the slide. Okay, similar to books, we've also listed five most common and most easily accessible platforms for the open access resources, starting with DOAG, which is Directory of Open Access Journals, then Emerald Insight, ResearchGate, academia.edu, and then Archive. Please see in the slides. Yeah, so similar to DOAB, Directory of Open Access Books, we have Directory of Open Access Journals as well. You cannot access the full text of the journal here directly, but it provides you a link to the original source, possibly to the journal or database in which it is indexed. You can look for the article searching in the search bar, and then it will direct you to the journal in which it is published, if it is freely accessible or openly accessible. Please change the slide. Yeah, so Emerald Insight is not a database but a leading publisher. It is one of the oldest publishing house, started in 1956, I guess, and it is basically a pool for the journals and books it publishes, but it has a separate section for the journals which are open access, or for the articles which are in the hybrid mode, or the journals which provides you access to the partial articles which are openly accessible. You can certainly search for the literature here in the search bar. You don't need to log in. You don't need any institutional access to access it. Just simply search for your query. The results will give you the overall results. And within that results, you can certainly filter out the open access articles or the books or any of the resource material that is available in our link site. Please see in this slide. Yeah, so ResearchGate isn't a search engine database or any of the open access resources, but it is a viable tool. It is a social networking platform for the researchers, similar to X or Twitter. where researchers can make their profile and promote their research work, get connect to the other researchers as well. And the good feature of ResearchGate in terms of accessing the open access educational resources is that in most cases, if the author has access to his published work, he can certainly upload the full text on his profile, make it more visible to the other researchers in the same domain. And you can certainly search for the specific piece of work you need in ResearchGate. If it is freely accessible, you can download it. If not, then you can always reach out to the author through his profile, request him to give you the full text or access to the full text. Yeah, please change the slide. Yeah, similar to ResearchGate, we have academia.edu, which is also a social networking platform for the researchers. You can connect with the fellow researchers, get in touch with them, collaborate with them, make your research work more accessible. So similar to what we do in the ResearchGate, academia.edu can also be used to access the open access resources. If the researcher or the author has access to his research output in full text, he can certainly upload in his profile. You can look for it, download it. If not, you can always reach out to the author personally and request him to give you the access to the full text. Please change this. Yeah. So, this is pronounced as archive. It is a repository for pre and post prints documents. So, pre-prints are the final draft before the peer review, and post print documents are the final draft of the research output after the peer review. So basically, once you are done with your research, you have your final draft of your work, and you may or may not have submitted it to any of the journal or book. You have access to it. You can certainly archive your work in archive, where, and you can make it visible to whoever wants to read your work. And you can simply search for the work here in the archive portal and access it. One thing that needs to be understood here while using the archive is this: most of the preprints are not peer reviewed, hence you cannot entirely rely on the information available in that work. Since they are not peer reviewed, they are yet to go through the peer review process, and in most cases peer review cases comes up with a lot of variations with the original work. So yeah, just a note of caution: be careful while using the archivex. If and because since they are not peer reviewed, you have a different citation pattern as well. The citation format we use in the APO in Chicago, for the preprints and postprints we have a different citation format. Let's please change this slide. Yeah. So lastly, two bonus tips I would like to include here. The first one is reach out to the library. Very obvious. Please reach out to the library. The problem here we have, specifically in the Indian context, specifically in the libraries in Indian institutions, is we have limited the resources of library to the issue and return. But in almost all the academic and research libraries, we have a separate section dedicated to the researchers, dedicated to the research work, dedicated to the research process, which is known as reference in research section or service. And in some cases, it is also known as a reader section. And you can always reach out to the reference librarian, ask them that you have this query. And your query need not necessarily be limited to access any of the resources. You can put your query in any way. If you have problem with writing, if you have problem with publishing, if you have any query with the interpretation, with finding the resources, with the finding the platform where you can publish your work, you can always reach out to the reference section of the library. And specifically with access to the educational resources or with access to the literature search you need, you can always reach out to the reference librarian. The libraries have apart from the subscribe resources, they have a multiple links and connections to the other libraries where they can provide you the access, and they have a connection or a consortium of libraries as well. For example, if you take the libraries of IIT, so suppose one resource is available in IIT Roorkee, but IIT Bombay doesn't have access to the resources. IIT Bombay can certainly reach out to the IIT Roorkee for access, and they will provide. So basically, the whole point is, if you are stuck, if you are in a dilemma, if you are in any problem relating to your research process, not necessarily, I'm pointing it out again, limited to the access, but any problem you have, you can always reach out to the library, and libraries and the librarians will definitely do their best to solve your query. Please see next slide. The previous, yeah. So the last resort is to write to the author. uh, uh, See, the problem comes when you are an independent researcher, or when you are a researcher with limited resources or without any research support or mentorship, because if you are affiliated to any institution or university, you can always rely on them for the access. But if not, if you are on your own, if you don't have any back on you to access the resources, then you either have to use the open access resources, look for your peers and the companions, or your friends circle to provide you the access. If not, the last option is to write to the author. You can always uh, 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 get the contact of the author from their social media profiles, from the university website they are affiliated with, and you can always directly approach them, asking them, requesting them to provide you the access to the resource for which you don't have access. And believe me, authors always want their work to get more views, to get more readership. They want their research work to get more visibility as well. So definitely they will be more than happy to help you out with the full text. So write to the author. Yeah, please. So if you have any questions, you can put.
Thank you so much, Nabeel. That was very helpful, very comprehensive, and thank you so much for keeping in time. We're just exactly on time, and that is exactly how we want it to be. So thank you so much for that. So if in case you have questions, the floor is now open to you. Uh, Please, you can either put your questions in the chat box, or you could raise your hand and ask your question directly to Nabeel. So before we open the floor to questions, just kind of add some quick points to add. So these are basically for mostly for researchers, when we have to search for articles, when you have to look for, even for assignments, when we have to make those assignments, term papers, essays, whatever it is, our PhDs, we are always struggling to begin the search, to know where to look for. Mostly we go onto these websites and they say, it has a paywall, we need to pay to be able to access that article or that journal. Then we go to the libraries, they don't have those books, right? So we are caught. And then we go to the institutions, they don't have funding and enough budget to get us those books. So basically students are the ones who are caught in this suspended animation kind of situation, and we don't know how to go about this. So this session basically was aimed to tell you that this is not all that there is to our world, that there is a world beyond, that we have databases, we have websites, we have search engines where you could literally just look up the article and get it, and that too through legal legitimate routes, because I know that we all at some point do use, for instance, websites like libgen, etc., but with so much issues on the legality bit, it's very it's a dicey situation for scholars also to follow through, and therefore this was an attempt to tell you that there are other legitimate or maybe legally sorted means also to kind of look for, and so that we all are not anxious on our ends. Okay, so I think we do have some questions um, in the chat box. Okay, basically, these are thank you notes. So before we all open up to questions or kind of soften to it, Nabil, we use the term peer reviewed. I was wondering if you could just maybe take us through what exactly do we mean by peer review, because this peer review term really comes up a lot. We want to publish in peer reviewed journals. We want to look for articles which are peer reviewed, etc. So if you could just maybe quickly shed a light on peer review, yes, thank you.
Yeah, so basically peer review, whenever you write any research paper and you want to get it published in any of the journals have this process of letting, of making your work go through the peer review, where someone from the same domain would go through your work and look for the relevancy in it, look for the authenticity in it, and look for the loopholes if they have any. And then once it is done, then the journals publish that work. So it was related to the preprints. The preprints are the final draft. Suppose I have written a research paper, it has not gone through the peer review. It's a preprint. I can upload that preprint uh, in archive, and then there is similar to archive a Zenido, which is also a repository for preprints. Uh, so basically, the other researchers can access that paper, but they are not peer reviewed. You have to be careful with the content they have.
Right. I think that that's helpful. Thank you so much. Um, I was wondering because we did talk about different strategies like truncation, Boolean, etc. Right? Nabil, if you could just maybe use a simple example, because I've been getting DMs that people are facing difficulties in able to distinguish their uses. And if you could just use maybe simple examples to kind of simplify this and tell them what exactly, maybe just take the example of some research question and what exactly different search methods and techniques throw up.
Yeah, so with regard to Boolean operators, so basically they are used to make the search results narrower and broader, and make the search result precise in case you need. So there are three Boolean operators, and, no, or, and not, and comes up. So by default, the search engines use the Boolean operator and they go up with the whole term individually and with the combination as well. So it gives you a more broader, more results uh, in terms of number. And or uses both of these terms together, and it again gives you a broader results. For the precise results, not is used where it excludes one of the terms from the search results.
Right. I mean, could we just take one example to show what this is going to look like?
Yeah, could you please go back to that slide? I have stated the example.
Okay, I have to
Yeah.
just give me a second. Um, can you see the slideshow?
Nope.
Just give me a second. Give me a second. Will I need to pull up this PPT again? Because I eventually had yes, here it is. This should work. Yeah, can you see it now?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Go back to the slide that Boolean operators.
Basically, if you could just, I mean, discuss each of these with one
Each of
simple.
these.
Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah. Fine. Yeah. So the phrase search uses the exact terms. If you would put the keywords in quotes, the results will, as you can see in the Google Scholar, climate change impact. The results which you are getting up right here use covering the all three terms together: climate change and impact. But if you would if you would search without the quotes, obviously the search results will include these three terms in the same order and individually as well.
Okay.
Hence, it will give you more results as compared to phrase searching. Phrase
Right.
searching is basically to precise the results.
So basically, the quotation marks are important here.
Yeah,
So yeah,
quotation.
for the audience, if you keep things in quotation marks, it's going to throw up exactly the same result, which is something you should be.
Exactly.
Yeah, thank you. Truncation searching.
So truncation search is again it is used to broaden the search results, where some of the words have different variations, as given in this example. Child has child, children, childhood, etc. So if you would use child term without the asterisk, it will only show you the results with the term child. But if you use the asterisk at the end of the word, it will give you the results including the different variations of that term, which includes children, childhood, and if there are any other variations of the same word.
Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. So the Boolean operators we have, and it will precise the search results. If you would put two words connecting them with the Boolean operator, and the search results will only include where both of these terms are coming together,
Right.
climate and pollution, hence
Perfect.
making the search result more precise. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So the OR Boolean operators will give you broader results, more results in terms of number, because it will make the search query with each of these individual terms separately and in the combination as well.
Not.
Lastly, not will exclude one of these terms from your search results, and eventually will make your search result more precise.
Yep. So basically, if I look for climate, it's obvious that sometimes it'll come like climate pollution. Pollution is the more
Yes,
obvious term that will come up with climate, but I don't want it. I don't want to know about pollution. So I simply write climate, not pollution,
not pollution.
and therefore pollution is.
And yeah, and with respect to that previous Boolean operator, and you can certainly use it's not always necessary that you have to put two terms. You can put more terms as well, like climate and pollution and effects.
Okay.
So and you can go on.
Okay. Perfect. And then there is wildcard searching, which is
Wildcard searching is similar to truncation search. In truncation search, we put that asterisk mark at the end of each word. In wildcard searching, we replace one of these character in the word with the question mark to get the different variations of the same word in the results.
basically when we're looking for different variations, we simply put question mark in
Yeah.
the letter place where we want the variation. So here the example is woman, women, etc. Could be for
Yeah.
man, men, right? Uh,
Yes.
and similarly, perfect. This makes sense. And then the advanced.
So yeah, advanced search is the simpler version of the different searching techniques, where you can, it has different heads where you can search. Like suppose you want to search something, you have a key term which should appear in the title of the scholarly work you are searching for. So you can put that keyword in that very heading, and the results will only include the term which are appearing in the title. And the same way, you can always search for the authors affiliations, date wise, and with the abstract. Like suppose if you want to search something which appears, if you come up with a key term which must appear in the abstract, then you can look for you can put that key term in the abstract bar, in the abstract searching bar, and it will give you the results.
Perfect. Okay, I think this, yeah. I think this makes
So
it very
then
clear for us. Yes.
we have few
No, but
questions, I guess.
yeah, I'll just check in the chat. Can you repeat the name of the website? Basically, the archive one.
It is pronounced as archive. It is
Archives.
written as ARXIV, but pronounced as archive.
Right. Okay. Next question is, how do we differentiate between authentic sources slash journals and gray literature? During a session with some other mentor, I came across a note that there's an extension which can be added to Chrome called Rapid Journal Quality Check. If you install this extension, it shows that it is Q1, Q2, or non-authentic journal slash literature along with search results. Can you please suggest similar extension tools to tool for differentiation between authentic and non-authentic sources? So basically, the question here is really about, how do
The
we.
authenticity of the journal. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, this often comes because this whole publishing industry relies on a lot of predatory journals. Predatory journals are sort of journals which they don't care about the quality of the research work. They just publish whatever they get, and sometimes they even charge you some amount of money and will publish anything you will give them. So yeah, so till now in India we had this um, UGC care list, which is invalidated recently, and there is a huge fuss going on behind that thing. So keeping that thing apart, you can always look for the authenticity of. One of the source you can use is Scopus. Scopus index journals uh, are considered as the most authentic ones. They hardly have any predatory journal sort of a thing. So you can always go with the Scopus index journals. If not, then there are certain ways you can always look for its authenticity. Like you can always go with the editor-in-chief's affiliation, editor-in-chief's qualification for editing that journal. You can always look for the other work in that very journal to see if they are publishing a good research work or not. And uh, uh, I mean, extension tools. So there are a number of extension tools you can use. One extension tool is available from Wiley. It will help you to distinguish between which of the journals are open access and which of the journals are behind the paywall. And then there is one extension tool from I guess it's from Elsevier as well, which will distinguish between the journals.
I think at this point I can come in and with confidence say maybe Nabil we could also work on creating a database of these extensions. So I'm very grateful to kind of also say that Nabil has been working as a knowledge partner with us, and he has been able to curate certain journal databases, certain AI tools that researchers can use effectively. We've put all those on the website. You please feel free to go to the website, have a look, and you can obviously it's a good suggestion, these extension tools. We will think about it. I'm sure Nabil and I can sit and we can curate this. But if you have more suggestions, please feel free to write to Kashf or to Nabil about other kind of databases that you would want to have on the websites, and we could help it curate for you. These are really good ideas and very helpful. Thank you so much for these. Okay, Nabil, we move to the next question. How to get a research paper published with a good reputed
Sana,
journal?
wait a minute. Could you just take this question by Jayashree? You missed it, I think, in between. It was asked a while ago. Uh, since should I read it out
Yeah.
if you can't see it? Yeah, just the question is, since updated citation styles are often behind paywalls, do you recommend any open access alternatives or platforms that provide credible citation guidance? I think it's partially addressed, but if you want anything to add.
Yeah, okay. So there is one tool by Zotero. It's called ZBib. So if I'm not mistaken, if you're asking about the citation style guidance from any of these tools. There are multiple tools. You can certainly use Quillbot as well. Quillbot provides a citation preparation tool. And then the most prominent is, like I said, is ZBib. You can put the DOI or the link of the research work. It will give you a multiple options in which citation style you want your citation, and then you can always edit your citation. So ZBib is you can certainly use.
Yeah, and
It's
just
from Zotero.
thank you, thank you. Just to add to that, we also did a Kash also did a session on referencing and style guides, and then helping you with tools that can help you reference credibly and help you with citations credibly. So you could the recording is on YouTube. We will post a link maybe here in the chat box. But if we can just do it, we'll post a link for those sessions in the chat box. You can always go and have a look at those sessions. We'll also post a link to the resources that Nabil has been preparing, and you can have a look at these as well. But in addition to that, it's very important for us to tell you that I'm getting these comments that, and Nabil, is a great session because I've been getting DMs also that it's been very helpful for people. So if you want us to continue doing these kind of sessions, please do kind of subscribe to the newsletter at least on the website, so that we can keep you in loop, because we send out these monthly newsletters with all the sessions that we do. So that's an easy way for you to subscribe to that. Otherwise, also social media, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, wherever, we all are there, and there's a strong presence there. Please follow. and give a shout out, because it encourages the team, and speakers are definitely encouraged to come and keep doing these over and over again, because we do want to have open access to knowledge, and these are otherwise things which consultants usually charge for, unfortunately, in our system. But thank you so much for your comments as well. Okay. So Nabil, the question was how to get a research paper published with a good reputed journal.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a whole different, it's a whole uh, bigger thing to discuss how to get published in a good journal, because I'm also finding the answer for it. Uh, uh, yeah, see, uh, the very first step is to done with your research work, and then you have some of the journal finding tools as well from Sage provides a journal finding tool, and then we have a tool from Elsevier also. We have a tool from Springer. We have a tool from Wiley as well. We have a journal finding tool from Taylor and Francis as well. So you can certainly go through these tools, put your key terms from your research work, or the abstract, or the title, or the main broad subject domain of your research work in that tool, and then the tool will suggest you some of the journals where you can publish your work in accordance with the frequency, in accordance with what publishing model they use, in accordance with the other things as well. Like suppose if you want to publish in the entirely open access journal, then you can certainly filter out those journals from that tool. So I think that's the question, because otherwise it's a very
Yeah, I mean,
bigger thing to discuss.
I'm realizing as we speak, Nabil, also as these things are coming up, I think these could be entirely separate sessions, discussing
Right.
databases, how to write, how to publish, how to know the best journals to publish. And Kash will definitely do these sessions now that these are things.
And one thing I want to point it out is that like in the bonus tip I wrote that you can always reach out to the library. So it's not always necessary that you reach out to the library for the access. You can reach out to the library for your whole research process. Any part in any step, if you are stuck, even with the starting, even with the research problem, you can always, if you have affiliation to the institute, the institute must be having a library. The library must be having a reference and research section. You can always reach out to the research and reference section, and you can always seek help from them, from generating a research question to finally getting it published. In any step, if you find yourself stuck, reach out to them. They will definitely help you.
Thank you, thank you. I hope that's helpful. The next question is, could you please repeat, I think, what we discussed before, the advanced search technique? What comes before the advanced search technique?
Wildcard searching technique, I guess, right?
Let me check. Let me pull this up. Wildcard, yeah, you're right, Nabil, it's wildcard searching technique.
Yeah. So wildcard searching, as I said, is similar to the truncation search. It will give you more broader results. It replaces one of the character in your searching terms with the question mark, and it will help you to generate the results connecting all the variations of that specific word. In that example, if you can see, we have the word woman, and with the fourth letter, we have replaced it with a question mark. Hence, the results will include woman, women, and any of the other variations available with that word in your search results.
Right. Uh, Thank you. I hope that's a good clarification. Um, See, so these are, because again, I'm getting, again, Nabil, there are lots of precious in text getting in for you, but just to kind of flag it here, see, these are very important things to know in our research journeys, but nobody will teach us this. I mean, you don't have a class where teachers will tell you how to use Boolean, how to use asterisks. These are really things which are related to technology, to information literacy, and this is precisely what information literacy is about. And we'll probably, hopefully, Nabil will agree to it, to do different sessions on, like similarly on information literacy. But our aim also has been to reach out to institutions in underserved places, right? Underserved institutions. So whoever is in the meeting, please do forward, do let other people know that we are doing these sessions, that they're on the YouTube. It's going to be helpful, because I know otherwise research journeys, and especially PhDs, could be very isolating because you're really clueless about how to start, what to do, where to do, and it takes a whole deal of time and energy, right? So we are trying to make these things easier for you. It's important that you pass it on to your classmates, to your batchmates, to your groups, to your peers, and also to encourage the team, to encourage the kind of work that's being done, if you want us to continue doing it. And if because social media is a great boon in the sense that it helps amplify the word, it helps spread the word, right? So if you give a shout out to Nabeel, to the kind of work that he's been doing, to the kind of work Kash has been doing, it helps amplify. More people get to see this kind of work is happening, and they can also then benefit from the resources that we are putting in, because it's entirely free of cost. The team is entirely putting its labor in whatever time it's getting. So just a shout out maybe. And we also send out feedback forms towards the end. These feedback forms are very helpful because they help us improve, help the team know what more sessions do you want, and we curate accordingly. Are there any further questions? Vidushi, do you have any questions that I missed, or any pressing questions that the people here in here have? You can raise your hand or ask the question or put in the chat box.
I can't see any more questions on chat box, but I would like to say that I have pinned on the chat box citation guidance tools. One that Nabeel mentioned for the Zotero one, which is I am not sure if it's the same one, but I checked and this is the one on Zotero that I can find. If it's a different one that you were mentioning, Nabeel, please feel free to pin it on the chat box. Additionally, there is one that I've always used and I rely on a lot is Purdue Owl, and I think they have a great um, a repository of citation style guides, and their advisory has been very helpful for me navigating it. And we always recommend you to use citation management tools, as San has already mentioned. So just that. Um, Yes, Nabil has just pinned it, and you can have it's zbib.org. So that's also another tool that you could use. So just that. I just wanted to flag another thing. We were talking about open access books. This is something we got to know very late in our respective research careers, but you can also get free access copies to books, new books that have come out if you choose to review them for certain publications. So if you say that you want to review a particular book, you can ask and request the publication for a free inspection copy, and then you can get that copy and review it for a publication. So you get a publication and you also get the a free book. So if you are exploring and you want a book for a particular research in the area you're working on and it's very costly, this is one way, also another way to get access to it. Just wanted to flag that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think rest of the, websites, the journal databases that Nabil mentioned, please have a look. We will be uploading the PPTs, of course, on our website, and you can always go and have a look at the different lists also, because now I'm sure Nabil has taken a note of the curation exercises that the audience member has have flagged, so we will definitely take it up. If there are no pressing questions, and I think we've come to a close to the session, but before we end, I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude to Nabil for all the work and the time that he's put into this, not just in this session, but he's been working for us for a long time now, curating different databases for us. And I cannot thank you enough, Nabil, for all the work that you've been doing with us. Thank you so much. And I really hope we can take this forward from here on. And of course, I want to thank all of you in the audience for your participation, and for the questions that you keep asking, for all the suggestions that keep coming our way. We are very open to taking all the suggestions, so please feel free to flood our mailboxes. We will also shortly we'll circulate feedback forms, so please fill those so that we get to know what is working and what is not working. I also would like to thank the team members of KashfInitiative for making this work possible. If you have any queries or would like to reach out to us, please feel free to email us at contact@kashfinitiative.com. I've also signposted the email address in the chat box here. For those of you who want to stay updated about our future events and resources, please subscribe to our newsletter by visiting our website. It's the best way to make sure that you don't miss out on any upcoming sessions and opportunities. We have another session coming up. I think it's on 19th April. That is when Kashf is beginning its regional and linguistic chapter. So we are essentially doing sessions now in other regional languages and other languages. So our first session is in Hindi. It's on literature review. So if you want to know about literature review but in Hindi language, please feel free to sign up for the sessions. The sign up forms are already out, and you can get the registration link from social media platforms as well. Hopefully we will, in the next coming up months, take to other more further languages also. Also, if there's a topic related to your research that you or your peers feel is important but hasn't been addressed yet, or if you have specific ideas, please write to us. We are more than happy to organize a targeted session for your college, department, class, or even small group. Our goal is to make these sessions as accessible as possible and as relevant to meet your needs. And this is why also we now record our sessions, and the recording of the open session will later be made available on our YouTube channel. So yeah, just to stay updated, it's www.KashfInitiative.com. Follow us on social media. The PPTs also, and Nabeel, I'm sure, will gladly agree to have us upload the PPT on our website as well. Please check them out if you're interested, or if you think any other person could benefit. We'll also make a larger handbook of all the things that have been discussed in the session, because I think these are very important, and we will of course upload them on our website. So thank you all again for joining us today, for giving us your time, and have a great weekend, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you, Nabeel.
Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks a lot to everyone who have joined.